That's very worrying. What were you doing with Danny Brennan?
I've got a ferocious chihuahua. Yes.
People being the general consensus of fighters is a bit meat heavy.
Yes.
I might have that wrong. I think
that's the general consensus.
The promoters, they want that. They want the guys going to go in there and go, I want to see that still. Since the dawn of time, two men, two people competing against each other is the most exquisite entertainment.
So we're here in Farnham.
I actually grew
up here. Where are you from?
I was actually split. I'm from Carshalton.
Carshalton?
Carshalton is in, it's like South London really.
Yep.
It's in between Croydon and Epsom. I just like it around it. Do you know what I like? I like historic towns. Something with a bit of history. I don't like the city. Like the smog and...
So what are you doing now, Chai? What's going on in Chai? Lewis Parry. Chopper, Chai. What's why Chopper?
Disclaimer.
Yeah, right across the tree is a disclaimer. Right above my head somewhere.
Yeah, okay.
Do you know actually give me that name?
What's her name?
No. What's her name?
Danny.
Brennan, yeah.
Danny Brennan.
Brennan, give me that name.
That's very worrying. What were you doing with Danny Brennan?
Do you know what it was? We were in Amsterdam. Yeah, we were in Amsterdam training at Mike's gym.
With Danny?
Yeah, Danny came over. Because it's when I was training with Alistair.
Yep.
And we were staying in this hotel. And a bit of morning glory, you know? I walked to the bathroom when I come out of the bathroom.
Were you naked?
Yeah. It was hot in there, man. And it was very dark, but the light in the bathroom allowed him to see a silhouette. And in the silhouette, he said, Jesus, look at the size of the chopper on you.
To chopper?
And that's how it stuck.
It really is because of your chopper. But there we go.
Yeah. I've never told that story publicly, ever.
Well, it's out there now.
I just find it a little bit disrespectful, you know?
It's the size of a man's penis and its masculinity.
There are some people eating it. Just you know.
It's like they're a bunch of ladies, they probably love it.
I don't think he does, though.
Maybe not.
He's not liking it. Anyway, the anatomy of a man.
In ancient Greece,
History. I like this.
the smaller your willy, the more heroic you are. That's why all the statues have small willies.
That's such a cop out. You know, that's all the little willy men.
So,
we're like, no, you know what? We're going to reverse it.
I'll tell you why. Because in a fight, your penis and your balls retract. So it gets smaller under times of stress because it wants to be. It's a vital
Protective,
organ.
yes.
Yeah. So obviously they're really good at fighting because
It sucks all the way in. Is that true?
I know sumo wrestlers can do that. They can suck their balls.
Yeah, yeah. That's very. I don't know if I'd want to do that, or fear of not getting it back. So we touched on something earlier, which I thought was interesting, because we were talking about a very different relationships with a team that I used to train with in the States. Different interactions, aka where mine were all positive. You had quite a negative interaction with. I don't know who it was in the team. I don't think you know, but
There's nothing. Yeah, we were talking about people being the general consensus of fighters is a bit meat-heady.
Yes.
I might have that wrong. I think
No,
that
I
might.
think that's the general consensus.
People might start to realise that we aren't meat-heads. I mean, you have to be a supreme athlete, a master of very many different physical disciplines, psychology. To continue being a fighter, you have to become a good businessman because you have to deal with marketing yourself, brand awareness, selling yourself. There's a lot of many different hats you have to put on. So there's a lot of intelligence needed for that. And my brand awareness has been atrocious. So unfortunately, due to my salacious celebrity life, it's I say one door closes, another it slams shut in my regard. I was
Why do you think that is?
because of the negative mindset of the continual onslaught of media, and it's stupid. You see headlines, and even though you might think that's a load of rubbish, it's in your subconscious.
Forefront.
Yeah, I go into a petrol station to pay for my petrol, and I see my face on magazines. And I remember someone picking up the magazine and reading an article about me, and I'm like, Jesus. And it wasn't a nice one. And I'm like, so if you got that continually, and I remember you were talking about your team, some guys in your team. I didn't know that was your team, but there was a derogatory comment about me, and I just whatever, because we used to like want to fight them all, and I'd like, come on, then you got free membership to my gym for life. I'll make sure nobody harms a hair on your head. Come down whenever you want, and I'll be doing that all the time. After about 1,000 people, you get kind of tired. You can't do that all the time.
No.
It's like, so you whatever. But this guy was dissing me over something salacious, some media article, and who piped up? My missus. So, I'm like, so then I had to get involved, and it happened to be they were talking about Luke Rockhold, who was your teammate. They're saying he'd smash you up. I'm like,
But Luke didn't say this himself.
no, of course.
So it's just people speaking on his behalf.
Armchair warriors, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like. But so does it bother me? It does bother me because I'm human.
What's being a fighter all about? Do you think people perceive fighters were full of love and affection?
No, definitely not.
Do you think they don't?
No.
Do you think there's a paradigm shift in society where people are being a bit more aware of what's going on, or do you think people are still stupid? Like we're just me fight. I'm gonna
Well, the layman will consider a fighter as like a Neanderthal. It's just a guy that fight, but someone who understands the sport, and there has been a transitional period between fighter and athlete.
Yeah. Well,
Because they are athletes.
to me, it's not a fight. A fight is a war. A fight is a street.
Yeah,
and we're
yeah,
fighting for
that's a
survival.
fight, yeah.
What we're doing, what we've done, I think I've had a handful of fights in my life. I've probably had 5 fights, real fights.
proper fights.
Real
yeah.
fights, and I had to test it. I mean, I was a soldier, didn't want to left the army, so I want to kill people.
Yeah.
But,
So you have a
competition.
moral standing on that.
but you've had, I don't know about you, street fights or fights, but I mean, I've had fights in courts.
Yeah.
Fights with
Which is
exes.
tougher than any physical
Oh.
fight you get. Yeah.
It's
Well,
not
especially
just-
the stuff you've been through.
It's not just physically.
Still going through.
Physically, literally physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, it's soul destroying.
Well, I think you can.
I mean, sure, you've had that as well, though.
Yeah,
I'm
so
not-
definitely.
Maybe not.
But do you know what? A financial struggle to me is something that will always, it will always have the ability to adapt. Like you can manage, you can always manage it. It can crush you, but you can. I always find a way to manage. Like I'm happy. I'm a minimalist. I'm happy if I've slept on the floor 1,000 times, mate. I've had nowhere to go. I've slept in a car.
I hear that, and I'm the same, and I get that. But when you have expectations on other people have expectations on you in relationships and what have you, that's what drives people to become fighters sometimes, because they're not some of the best fighters, the hungriest fighters, to actually just put food on the table.
Yeah.
They've got to provide for their family. If you've got people who are expecting you to provide to survive, it's very well you doing that, but when you've got other people who rely on you, That's why I used to fight in the end, to be able to provide for my family. And it wasn't about being a tough guy. I mean, that makes you a tough guy. Sometimes I wouldn't even want to fight really. I'm like, all right, kind of enjoy it.
Yeah.
But that's why I started to realise there's got to be better ways to earn money doing something you love.
I mean, we're saying I've had over 300 fights. You've had 30.
Yeah, around.
And we had this conversation the other day. You've made as much money as me in your biggest fight than I did in my biggest fight. And I'm like, what was I doing wrong? I'm not. What were you doing right?
No, I don't think it's that you were doing anything wrong. It's just when I entered, you were already very much in, and the game was a lot different before I came.
Yeah.
The money wasn't there. You look at dudes. I even see. I saw Frankie Edgar's paycheck at UFC. We accidentally picked up the wrong paycheck. The team I was with, and Frankie Edgar, who was fighting Jose Aldo for the interim title at UFC 200, was only making 75k. This is a guy who's a three-time champion, beat BJ Penn twice, Gray Maynard 3 times. Like, these guys been in wars, and you only get 75k, and you're gonna get what, tax 40% on that?
Yeah.
Come on, mate. And then agent fee 20%, 15%, whatever it is.
Yeah. I know.
It's just not. You've got to understand your worth, and sometimes you need to be able to say no.
Yes.
No, I'm not accepting that. All right, cool. We're gonna move on to the next guy. Okay, cool. Go get the next guy.
And this is the thing, people talk about us being fighters the whole time. It's not just a fighter. Yeah, ultimately you get into the game because you want to prove your toughness and you want to exert your art, martial artists, and as a skill. But it becomes a job. You've got a mortgage to pay. You've got bills. You've got food to put on the table. And if you're not doing that, so you need to. You feel less of a man. To me, a man isn't being the biggest, toughest guy in the world. Being able to beat this guy, it's about being able to provide for my family. If you can't do that, that's the whole thing about being a man now. So people ask me all the time to fight, but what for? Got bills to pay. What about? I'm sure it's the same for you.
100%. I don't do it for a laugh.
I mean,
I
I
enjoy
did.
it.
I used to.
Yeah.
Just to pay. I fought for my country many times, and I paid. We fought in '98. I went to Gdansk, Poland, to fight in the WACO World Championships. It was like the Olympics of the kickboxing world. Do you know who's in the heavyweights for Russia, for Ukraine, for Vladimir Klitschko?
Oh yeah, because he was kickboxing. Yeah.
What the hell? That was the level of the guys we had. And listen, I paid I think £700 to get over there to represent my country.
The amount of times I've turned up to an event and been like, do you know what? I don't even want to be here. Like this is like I don't feel driven by the challenge that's in front of me. It's not a challenge. I'm not wasting my time. And that's when we were talking earlier. That's when I would get an element of nerves. Because I'm like, do you know what? I'm not motivated by this.
I'm not here for the right reasons.
Exactly. And you start to question, should I even be doing this?
Yeah, I've done that.
Because it is, when you think about it, me personally, post-fight depression. When I see what I've done to somebody, I feel bad.
Right.
Many occasions I felt bad. I looked at someone and I've gone, do you know what? He's got to go to a job on Monday.
If you've got too much compassion, you're going to pull your punches.
You've
got to kind of switch
it's
that
true.
off.
You're not going to smash them.
And the thing is, the reason why I've got into fighting in the first place because I was bullied, and then I wanted to beat the bullies, and then I wanted to stand up for anyone else who was bullied, or so you want to be a tough guy, and you want to like be Batman. But
do you think that there is a place in modern day MMA for the fighters? Because I find that the fighters, the ones that want to get in there and just bite down and swing, they get picked apart by the athletes. Because they're thinkers. The thinker beats the muscle.
There's always a place for them because that's what the matchmakers do. That's what the Dana Whites, the promoters, they want that. They want the guys going to go in there and go swing.
They want to see that,
balls to the wall, everything, all out against the athlete. I mean, I want to see that still. Since the dawn of time, two men, two people competing against each other is the most exquisite entertainment. Who's going to win?
Well, it goes back to when who would win out of Superman and Batman, you know, it's being kids again.
Who would win? Well, they had a fight.
Well, they did have a fight, which was a load of crap.
Who would win between the Incredible Hulk and Superman?
The Hulk, the comic book Hulk.
Yeah, but who's stronger?
The Hulk.
Is he?
Yeah, so think about it. The comic book
Yeah,
Hulk.
but Superman can like push a planet. Or can he?
No, see, but the Hulk can grow. So the original Hulk, the madder he got, the stronger and bigger he got. So you're just not going to beat him.
Yeah, but you can't
they've
keep
dumbed
that.
him down, made him.
What, he can become the size of a planet?
Well, I don't know how big he can get, but ultimately he can destroy a planet. He's massive. He remember the comic book Hulk?
Yeah.
He was humongous. Now what have they made him? They're giving him skinny jeans. This fucking 21st century is making the Hulk.
Like, the thing is, how did he like? He rips out of his clothes, but he's always got.
He's got pants on.
They always get a little bit tight.
Yeah.
They must have stretchy pants.
Do you know what?
They
That's a sign of how strong he was in Greek mythology, because they made his willy small.
I remember I went to do I was going to fight for Bama in 2010. No, I did fight in 2011.
That's when you fought Tom, wasn't it?
It was 2010. Yeah, correct. I was with had some negative association with an ex-partner, and I went out to Newcastle FC, 50,000 people in the middle of the football stadium, half time, to start promoting the fight.
Yeah.
And chant started.
Oh no.
Alex Reid, wait now.
No way.
50,000 people.
Really?
It was like,
The whole place was
I was like,
chanting that, yeah?
whoa. I was like, I think we're kind of done here, it's time to go. And then it was snowing, and I could see guys throwing snowballs at me as I was walking down the exit of the arena.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, the guys who are throwing snowballs at me and call me a wanker, they come and say, oh really, we love you mate,
Yeah, of
we love
course,
a
yeah.
picture.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just the mob mentality.
Yeah,
And that's, you know, have you had that?
yeah. All the time. I get it
Yeah,
now. I get it all the time. I get racism though. That's what I get.
Do you actually get that?
Yeah, I get that a lot.
What level?
Everything you think that you could call me in a racist, hurtful, intended way, I'll get it. Or the one that I will only ever address, and I suppose that is to a degree my fault, is if someone says something personal about a family member, which they don't know.
Yeah.
But you share an image of your mum or whatever, and then someone says your mum this, your mum that. It's schoolyard stuff, but there's no need to involve somebody innocent, and then they go on the comments and read, oh, why is that person saying about me? Not everybody. I'm quite thick-skinned. I've got a bit of an iron mentality, and
Yeah.
it's very difficult to just offend me. Ignorance offends me more. So if you were being ignorant to a feeling that I had towards a particular scenario, and you were being ignorant to it, and you're my friend, I might be offended by that. But if you were Joe Bloggs, I couldn't give a rat's ass what you think. I don't really pay attention to people.
I can actually forgive ignorance. I'm going to quote the Bible. Forgive them, Father, for they know what they do. Some people don't realise the error of their ways. Look at me.
Yeah.
I'm eating meat. This is quite. I mean, imagine in 100 years this might be illegal.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah.
Yeah, she might be. I mean, the cruelty that this poor pig suffered its
Yeah.
life.
Stuck in a triangle.
Yeah.
So
And I choose to ignore the fact that that's. The more I'm talking about this, the more it's making me not want to eat it.
But you're going to finish it, aren't you? Because otherwise he died for nothing, right?
There's that as well. That's right. I didn't actually think about it, and that was ignorance when I ordered it. I didn't think about it. Then I knew the fact that you're vegan. It made me think about it.
But I always say this: people ask me about the vegan lifestyle. I'm not about pushing it on you and you should do this, you do that.
No,
you kind of got to
100%.
want to do it. And when you want to do it, you do it. You don't think about it. You just get it done. You know? There's no pressure.
But it's like the same people, the people who charm, the football hooligan, the low mental capacity. They don't realise what they're doing, or do they?
No, they know what they're doing, but it's
Do they
aimless.
care? Do they care? They realise the pain they cause.
No, they don't, because they don't. You know what? You say it to them, and it probably wouldn't even affect them.
So,
They're just numb to society. They're numb to their actions. These are the same people that are living to go and chant in a football stadium every weekend.
tell me, what sort of kid were you? Were you bullied at all?
Pretty brown.
Eh?
Pretty brown.
Brown.
What was
Did you
I
get
as a kid?
racism when you were a kid?
Yeah. I grew up in a pretty NF area at the time. There's always an NF spray tag somewhere.
National Front.
And then when I went to the school, National Front. When I went to my school,
So you had to be
it was
tough.
a mixed school. They'd only mixed school 2 years removed.
Mixed school, wasn't it?
Mixed boys and girls.
Oh yeah.
Because it was a girls' school.
Yeah.
And then I was the, I think, second kid of colour in that school. So I got a lot of it. But I don't know, I was always, like I am now really, I spend a lot of time on my own. You know me, I don't really hang about with too many people. And I was the same then. I used to get my basketball, my Alonzo Mourning Wilson basketball. It was like an luminous, it was like turquoise, the same colour as the Charlotte Hornets. I used to go to the court on my own, mate, because no one else wanted to play.
Really?
Yeah, I used to go all the time in the court, every day, after school, sometimes before school, before class started, before register. Bank shots. I just loved it, man. That was my thing, that was my escape.
Did you have friends?
Did I have any friends?
Yeah.
At some, yeah. But I didn't mix with people a lot. You know?
Why not? Why did you feel
Because you
outside?
know what? I think I've always thought this, but I didn't know how to communicate it back when I was a kid. I didn't have the vocab to communicate. But I feel that we people are very much in control of your mood, because you can choose who you spend your time around. So I can choose to be around you. If you are toxic to my mood, I don't have to remove you, I have to remove myself, because I am in control. I can get up and leave. Acting. So something we've both dabbled in. I think you more so than me, because you did Hollyoaks, didn't you? How did that come about?
Went to acting school.
Okay.
Went to Guildford School of Acting. Funny,
Right.
it's one of the best. I didn't realise this. It's rated the second best acting school in the country.
Is it really?
And I felt like I came out there, I didn't know anything. And just a couple of years ago, I thought I need to go back and train again. Even though I've done soaps, films, plays, yada yada yada. I've got a massive IMDb record. Yeah, I did 2 films last year. A sitcom, 2 plays and 2 pantomimes.
Yeah.
Pantomimes, oh no I didn't. Thought, wow, I need to train more. And I thought, do I really need to? And I checked, I was thought about going to, is it RADA?
Yeah.
RADA was right down the list, whereas Guildford School of Acting was right at the top. I thought, why am I going there? It's just a confidence thing. A bit like the fighting. Look at the pedigree I fought at.
Did you ever feel negative going into a fight?
Yes.
Oh shit, I'm not ready.
No,
Scared?
I've never
Ever
had
scared?
not ready.
You scared?
Um,
You could knock me out.
one time. Yeah, it's when
How
I
did that
when I
go down?
debuted in 1FC.
How did that
So I
go?
remember the dude I was fighting had just won his last fight by like some crazy spinning head kick.
Yeah.
And when I see him in person, his legs were as wide as this table. I could hear him like Tong Po kicking the pillar, kicking the pads, and I was like, right, if that connects, that's gonna shatter my body. And then you kind of overcome that, you get in there, and when I felt this kick, I was like, there's nothing. And then it's gone. Because I think you build up what you can't see. I couldn't see what was happening. So I couldn't see the impact, but I could hear it. And sound can be way more devastating than the visual, the physical.
I know that one.
So I had built up this idea of a horse kicking a pad. And when I felt the kick, I was like, that's no different than anybody else's kick. It just looks more imposing because it's a big leg. It's a big solid leg.
Is it you now who's in that cage or in that ring? Or is it somebody different?
If I'm honest, I don't even really remember when I'm in there.
So someone different.
Yeah, I don't
See,
remember.
I study this backwards. I'm trying to work out. Because I'm a scaredy cat by nature. But I've become somebody else.
You can see it. You can see it.
It's transformed. And it's funny, I remember I fought at jiu-jitsu guy, Tony Giles, and I hadn't fought in 2 years, and he was calling me up for years and years and years. I thought, oh, sod it, let's do it. I was depressed, and I used that fight as a way to build myself up as therapy. Didn't really train for the fight, which is stupid. I was a little bit worried because I was told he'd knocked everybody out his last 15 fights, and I hadn't checked him out. I believed the hype, so I trained a bit, and I went in there, and I'm like, I remember he hit me with his first punch, and I'm like. And all of a sudden, confidence, power up,
It does, it happens, yeah.
But it's, I think if you had that confidence before you started, maybe you'd be a different person.
I think though, also, equally, that's a sense of overconfidence at the start because you never know.
Yeah.
You might be so confident going in
Lackluster.
there because you're like, oh, you know what, he can't hit me with anything, and you don't respect it, and you start doing the Anderson Silva, and then you get clipped.
You've seen
It
that?
doesn't take much.
Yeah.
Weidman ended his legacy when it wasn't even a big punch. It was a little flicky hook. That's it. That's all it takes. You know, look at Prince Nazim. His career got ended the minute he lost. One Barrera, wasn't it? Yeah, one knockout and he's done. He's the flashiest guy, the untouchable guy. One guy touches him, mental state gone.
Yeah.
You know? I think the best thing that ever happened to me was losing. The minute I lost, I realised I can never lose again because win or lose, I feel exactly the same. So losing doesn't. I'm not scared of that.
I'm intrigued how you work it. It's, like I said, I feel like I'm so far removed from fighting now.
Yeah.
But I know if the shit hit the fan, I could transform in a millisecond.
Yeah.
Is that weird?
You loosely said something about potentially fighting again.
Yeah.
And fighting somebody that would be a fight for the people if it's who I think you're saying that is a.
Yeah. We have some. All I can say at the moment, and thank you for not naming who it is.
Yeah.
We're having some security issues, of course, for the time being. But if that happens, then that would motivate me to go on. Entertainment. Are you not entertained?